Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea, and I'm the creator of Color Mending Therapy. I am so excited that you are joining me today for this intuitive coloring session. Before we begin, let's talk about what this video is going to cover. First, I'll introduce myself and talk about why I created Color Mending Therapy. We'll talk about what color mending is. We'll do an intuitive coloring activity, and then we will finish up with how you can learn more about color mending therapy. For this first part, as I'm talking, make sure that you have all the supplies that you will need for the intuitive coloring activity. The first thing that you're going to want is a pen or a pencil to take notes. You can also type out your notes. I really like using my iPhone, the Notes app in my iPhone, to both color and take notes on. You'll also want paper. The type or size of the paper actually doesn't matter. It could be lined, it could be printer paper, sticky notes, the back of an envelope. Just use what you have. And then you're gonna want something to color with. I love crayons, and I always recommend crayons because they're cheap and accessible. You can get a 24 pack of crayons at a grocery store or a dollar store for under $2 at HEB earlier this week. I actually saw one for 84 cents. If you do not have crayons, or if you are one of those people who hate crayons, use what you feel comfortable with. So that could be markers, colored pencils, pastels, paint, whatever you have on hand. Okay, now we're ready to begin. I have been developing color mending therapy over the past 6 years, and as a Valentine's Day present to myself this year, I quit my full time marketing director job to go all in on color mending. So, how did I get here? And what led me to create color mending? Let's rewind the clock back to the early 90s. Growing up, I could only label six emotions: happy, sad, angry, overwhelmed, anxious, and depressed. In my family and my community, I was taught that only happy feelings were okay to feel, and that if I felt anything else, something must be wrong with me. Everyone around me, so my friends, family, and community members, all modeled suppressing heavy emotions. And then when they couldn't suppress them anymore, they'd explode. So when I say explode, I mean they lost their temper, they would yell, they would cry uncontrollably, or they would need to isolate themselves for an extended period of time. Then, after the explosion, things would be okay for a few months until they felt like they couldn't suppress the emotions anymore and they would explode again, and the cycle just kept repeating. Naturally, because that was what was modeled to me, I adopted the same thing, which meant that in my teens and 20s, I became emotionally numb. Typically, when people are emotionally numb, it leads to addiction. Because I grew up in a very high demand religion, sex, drugs, and alcohol were off the table. There were no questions about that. But TV, food, school, work, chasing high sensory experiences were all my drugs of choice. Everything from binge watching TV to eating a high sugar diet to graduating with an MBA a month after I turned 22, to going to stunt school, to skydiving, to doing two ultra marathons, to completing a half Ironman in Boulder, Colorado. I attended a lot of concerts and events, and I eventually became a workaholic. I was constantly on the go. That is until pumpkins burned me out. Yes, you heard correctly. I did say pumpkins. In 2016, I found an opportunity to create a pumpkin festival at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds in Twin Cities. I had 5 months and a team of event producers and artists to build a half-mile outdoor course. And along this course were 8 different pumpkin themed lands. I had never experienced this level of stress or uncertainty or pressure before. And I ate, slept, and breathed pumpkins. The event was a success. All of the team's hard work made it a success, and the company actually wanted to do a year two and expand into two new markets. So we were planning to go back to Twin Cities and expand in Northern California and in Salt Lake City. But I knew that I needed to change something, but I didn't know what. All I knew is that I couldn't keep going at the pace I was going and in the same mental state, so I started doing some research. This research led me to land on two options. I was either going to fly to Thailand and do a 2 week silent meditation retreat. Keep in mind, 2016 was before White Lotus season 3 came out. But yes, basically, I was going to do what Piper wanted to do, or I was going to enroll in a year-long certification program at the Institute of Healing Arts in Linden, Utah, and become certified in what is called the integrative processing technique. And I decided that if I studied something at the same time I was building year 2 of Pumpkin Nights, I would have the perfect training ground to practice what I was learning. So I enrolled in the year-long certification. The integrative processing technique, it's also called IPT. It uses guided visualizations to process deep trauma and explore root causes of your belief system. The pictures on your screen are me with my instructors and mentors, the ladies who taught me IPT. For an IPT session, as a facilitator, I would guide whoever I was working with through a visualization by going back to when a traumatic event occurred. And our goal was to rewrite the feelings and perceptions around that experience. If you're familiar with EMDR, it's pretty similar to that. During this program, it was actually the first time that I experienced the importance of feeling emotions and moving through emotions. And I learned very quickly that if we suppress and pretend that emotions are not there, especially heavy emotions, our brains and our bodies will remember, and we can't truly move forward and create a new reality for ourselves until we look at what we're suppressing. I got really, really good at IPT, so good that clients often told me that one 90-minute session, they would give them bigger breakthroughs than 10 years of therapy. And I loved this work. I loved I was able to help people have big breakthroughs, but I began to notice that something felt off. And what felt off was the more I worked with clients, the more dependent they grew on me. I got really curious and I started to look for patterns to understand why. And I had conversations with my clients as well. And that led me to the answer and realization that it was because they were relying on me to read and interpret their emotions instead of learning how to read and interpret their emotions themselves. Our body wants to be whole and to heal. Our bodies communicate these needs to us through sensations in our bodies. And it does this for both our physical needs and our mental needs. Let's talk about our physical needs first. If we need to use the restroom, or if we're thirsty, or if we're hungry, our bodies create sensations that alert our brains what actions we can take to bring us back to a state of balance or wholeness. This is what I'm referring to when I say regulated. We all had to learn what these sensations meant and felt like so that when we felt them again, we would know what to do. The same concept goes for our mental needs. Our body creates sensations that our brains label as emotions to help communicate to us what actions we can take to feel whole and complete mentally, like getting a hug or having a good cry or moving your body or setting stronger boundaries or updating our beliefs around something or having that difficult conversation that we've all been avoiding. After some more research, trial, and error, what I realized is that I could teach someone how they felt emotions and what those emotions were trying to get them to pay attention to through coloring. After 6 years of iterating and working with over 250 people from the ages of 4 to 85, color mending therapy was born. Color mending therapy is a two-step process. Step one is taking how you're feeling and coloring it out onto a piece of paper using any color and shape that you want. This is known as intuitive coloring. There is no wrong or right way to color. It, like its name implies, you literally just follow your intuition or your feelings. What you are currently seeing on your screen are pictures that my clients of all different ages have colored. You can see that no two coloring is identical, and some colorings are really detailed while other colorings are really simple. The second step to color mending therapy is taking your coloring and using the color and shapes charts that I've developed over the past 6 years to gather clues about what the colors and shapes you used in your coloring represent. Intuitively coloring onto a piece of paper helps make your inner world visible, and then using these color and shapes charts, you gather clues about how you feel emotions and learn what the emotions are trying to get you to look at. Specifically, colors represent emotions and shapes represent what the emotion is about. Now that you know why I created color mending, what color mending helps you do, and the two steps of color mending, let's color. No need to worry, I'm going to walk you through each step. And if you need more time or want to hear the instructions again, feel free to pause or rewind the video. Go at your own pace. The first step of intuitively coloring is doing a body scan. A body scan is taking a few seconds to check in with different parts of your body to see how each part feels. Some parts might feel calm and quiet, like relaxed arms or weightless legs or an airy back. Other parts might feel loud and uncomfortable, like tight shoulders or a clenched jaw or a rumbly stomach. For this specific body scan, you're going to be looking for the spot that is making the most noise. So, what does making the most noise mean? It means that you're looking for the part of your body that feels the most intense, whether that's tight or uncomfortable or restless or just different from the rest of your body. That's what you're looking for. Sometimes the spot that is making the most noise is going to jump out to you even before you close your eyes, but sometimes it might take a few minutes of pausing and scanning and noticing before you're able to locate it. For this body scan, I want you to pause the video, close your eyes, and take a deep breath, then do the body scan. So, starting with your head, check in with each part of your body. So, your neck and your shoulders and your arms and your hands, your chest, your back, your belly, your hips, your legs, your feet. And then once you find the spot, you can go ahead and unpause this video for the next step. Now that you found the noisiest spot, I want you to write that spot on a piece of paper. Next, we're going to label the noise that you found. To do this, you're going to ask yourself, does the noise feel heavy or does it feel light? You're going to write the answer on the same piece of paper that you wrote the spot. If the noise feels down, upset, uncomfortable, or off, write heavy. And if the noise feels good, happy, or balanced, write light. If you're unsure about if it's heavy or light, write heavy. Now that you've identified the noisiest spot and labeled it as heavy or light, the next step is describing the noise. If you need, on the next slide, I have a word bank to help you pick out a word to describe the noise. Notice that I have heavy description words and light description words. You'll want to pick a word that matches what you wrote down on your piece of paper, so heavy or light. Your goal is to select at least one word that describes the noise, but if you want to add more than one word, that is great. You're definitely more than welcome to. You can pause this video to take your time and read through the list, or if you're ready to keep going, let's move to the next step. Now we are at the fun step. Please remember, please, 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 if you remember nothing else, you can use any color and shape that you want. I've added some more examples on your screen from past colorings from different clients to help remind you that no two coloring looks the same and that it can be as simple or as detailed as you want it to be. Your goal for this step is to literally take the noise that you found in your body and then color it out onto a piece of paper. Don't second guess yourself. Draw whatever comes to your mind first. There's literally no right or wrong way to color. And once you start coloring, just stop when it feels complete. Most people will only color one page, but if it feels like you need to color out multiple pages, go for it. There's no stopping you. So pause this video and take as much time as you need to color. Once you're ready, unpause this video and we'll go to the next step. You did it! You intuitively colored. How was that experience for you? Did you find it easy or difficult? What did you notice as you were coloring? And the last question that I'm going to hurl at you is check in with that part of your body that was making the most noise. How is it feeling now? Most people that I color with, especially if they colored out a heavy noise, tell me that they feel lighter, that the coloring released the tightness or the tension for them. And I had one person that I colored with yesterday tell me that it felt like they were untangling a knot. I love that description. Keep in mind that what you just did, intuitive coloring, is only the first step of color mending. The second step is taking your coloring and gathering clues about what you colored using the color and the shapes charts. To demonstrate this, I'm going to use myself as an example. Yesterday morning, I was walking my two dogs and I was getting so annoyed at them, more annoyed than usual. The youngest is still very much a puppy, and Shiba Inus are known for being incredibly stubborn. So it's really not uncommon for me to feel annoyed with them. But I noticed that the level of annoyance I was feeling was much higher than normal. So I had a choice. After the walk, I could either keep going on with my day and have this subtle annoyance impact every part of my day. That would mean that I would blame my annoyance on my dogs and project my annoyance on my husband and the slow driver that I was stuck behind yesterday and the delivery person that misplaced one of our packages, or on my parents for asking me too many questions, or even on my clients because they were just not getting it. I mean, I think you get the picture. Or I could take 10 minutes, color out the emotion onto a piece of paper and get it out of my body so I would stop ruminating on it, then look at it objectively to see what the feeling was trying to get me to pay attention to. So I decided to color it out and this is what I colored. Based on the colors and shapes that I used, I learned that what I thought was annoyance was actually anxiousness about sharing color mending on a wider scale. So the day before I colored, I did a networking event and I met a lot of women entrepreneurs in Austin. And then the day that I colored, I had two virtual presentations to guide people through coloring sessions. And I'm gaining more traction on social media. And next week, I'm attending a coloring club to teach people how to intuitively color, and I'm in the process for volunteering at a local organization to help teach foster kids how to intuitively color, all of which is exactly what I want to do, but my mind and my body were so anxious about sharing color mending with more and more people. Because when more and more people learn about color mending, it opens the door for people to either misinterpret what I'm saying or the work that I'm doing. So this was just my body's way of telling me, hey, you're feeling anxious about this, but this is what you signed up for. You're on the right track. Take a minute to acknowledge that it is scary, but you got this. You are creating the community and the results that you wanted. I was able to get that specific personalized message for me by using the color chart that helped me see what emotions the colors I used represented, and by using the shapes chart, which helped me see what the emotion was about. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this intuitive coloring session helped you slow down, connect with your body, and feel a little bit more grounded. If you're feeling that pull to go deeper, specifically to understand the emotions that you just colored, and to build more trust with your body, I've got a few next steps to support you. The first is to check out the Color Your Emotions Intuitive Coloring Activity Book. It's a 5-day digital guide with quick 15-minute practices that will help you build more confidence in using coloring to explore how you're feeling. Plus, each day includes a mini lesson about how our brains construct emotions. The next is if you're ready to gather all of the clues in your colorings, I created the Color Mending Therapy Step by Step Guide for you. This guide walks you through an entire color mending session from choosing what to color about to interpreting what your body is telling you through what you colored. And most importantly, it does include the color and shapes charts that we talked about in this video. And then for those of you who are all in, the Color Mending Therapy Basics Masterclass is a 2.5 hour on demand course that talks about the neuroscience and the theories behind this whole method. You can view this course as me showing my work and giving you insight into how everything works. It includes the Color Your Emotions activity books, so the intuitive coloring guide, and also the color mending therapy step by step guide. It also includes additional resources and insights to help you use intuitive coloring for real, ongoing emotional growth. I've also included links below in the description of this video to my one on one sessions with me. These are 45-minute coloring sessions where I guide you through an intuitive coloring practice, and then we dive deep into interpreting your coloring. I also offer professional licensing, so if you are a therapist, counselor, or work with others and want to use this tool with them, you can contact me about that. Again, you'll find links to all of these offerings in the description of this video. Each of these tools is designed to meet you where you are, no pressure, no fixing, just calm, creative support for when you are ready to reconnect with yourself in a deeper way. Thanks again for being here. Keep creating, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coloring, y'all.